Sorry. Thank you, Walter. I am recording. I had so much trouble getting in. I just wanted to get going here. So thank you for reminding me about that. It's my third or fourth show. So, a little grace. Thanks. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, you should be running your Google Analytics. So that's going to give you a lot more in-depth information. So Google Analytics can also be, when you run social media campaigns, you should automatically set those up to run your Google Analytics because you're going to get a huge amount of information from those that will be able to let you know why they were successful or let you know why they didn't work so well. So that the next time you do it again, you either repeat the success or don't repeat the reasons that it didn't work out so well. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So why is it important to know age? Let's just go through this. Here's our basic demographics that we're going to need to gather. We need our age categories. We need our gender categories. We need to know where they're at in the world. This is especially important for e-commerce sites because, of course, when you're on the web and you're selling on the web, chances are the majority of your customers are not going to be local customers. You need to find out what your most popular social media accounts are. This is for stress levels, and I'll get into that a little bit later. And you know what? You can also look at if you're tagging things, those keywords and that. You can also look into what words, what language, what words are getting you the most recognition. We need to know all of this stuff. And again, like I said, your most popular posts, your least popular posts. See, this is why I usually have a co-host because I really don't like going solo on these things. I have to talk way too much. So anybody can pop right in, no problem. Now, age. We need to know our age demographics. Why? Well, because let's face it, a 16, 17, 18-year-old is not going to engage with you the same way that a 40, 50, 60-year-old is going to engage with you. If you don't know your age group, you have no idea if you're actually selling effectively, if you're in front of the right audience, and if you're getting attention from them, why? Why are you getting attention from that particular group? Is it the product you're offering or is it how you're offering it? So these are all things that we need to know when we're planning because, like I said, if you've got, demographics usually don't go with their 18 plus they start at, but you can assure yourself that, my kids signed up for Facebook and that, I have to admit it, before they were actually technically old enough to do so. So if you've got a huge 18 demographic, there's probably a good number of 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds in there. But again, you have to really take a look at who those people are and where they're engaging. The other really important reason to know age group is because 18-year-olds to 25-year-olds are engaging less and less and less on Facebook, more and more and more on Instagram, more and more on Snapchat, more and more on these other sites, which means that chances are if you've got a huge demographic on Facebook, you'd have an even bigger demographic on one of those other social media sites. So anyway, our next demographic, okay, no questions yet. Our next demographic is gender. I think that that's really, really obvious. Why do we need to know if we're catering more to women or more to men? Completely different mindsets when it comes to shopping, making purchasing decisions. Like the whole psychology is just different. We may want to say, oh, no, everybody's the same. We want all this equality and that, but you cannot get away from the basic fundamentals that men think differently than women. So if you're designing everything, like maybe you ran a campaign and you thought women were your main target, and that campaign completely failed. Then you go into your insights and you go, oh, for goodness sakes, 65% of the people who actually engaged with that ad were actually men. Now you know what your problem was, right? You targeted it to the wrong target audience. So when you're planning for your next quarter, your next year, your next whatever, you know that you need to have, you need to take the male factor into consideration. Yes, you're right. There are 4 million users on Facebook, and well, YouTube, they estimate 4 billion, but they're never quite sure exactly how many are there because there's so many interactions every day. And that's exactly why, this is something that Walter brings up. This is exactly why we decided to start the Blab. Video has already been a major component in marketing for, oh my goodness, what, 3 years now? I do have a YouTube channel that I'm hoping to expand a lot more this year, but I just have to be honest, YouTube takes a lot more effort than this does. And effort means time. So, editing, adding your credits, all that other kind of stuff, making it fun. I mean, I love the heck out of YouTube. I watch tons of stuff. But I haven't gotten to the point where I'm comfortable putting that time in just yet. However, these blabs, I mean, I'm loving them. I'm posting them up to YouTube as soon as they're finished. And, well, except for last week, sorry, I got sick. And I'm loving the heck out of video, and you just can't deny video. I don't care if you're camera shy. I don't care if you're introverted. I don't care if you got a big zit on the end of your nose. You just cannot ignore video. So this is why we're here right now. However, if you look into the statistics of Snapchat and you look into the statistics of Instagram and that, those numbers are growing like crazy. I mean, look at Pinterest. It took half the time for Pinterest to double the number of Twitter users. So it grew twice as fast in half the time. The visual stuff is just, it's there. And honestly, if your target market is that stay-at-home mom crowd that has a good, household median income, again, can't ignore Pinterest. You've got to be on there, right? So, yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, you're totally right, Walter. 2019 videos are expecting it to almost completely take over social media streams. So even if you're still going to be on Facebook and you're still going to be on Twitter, it's going to be to post videos or links to videos. And that's another reason why Pinterest and Instagram are so amazing, because they already have video capability. So like compatibility. So these are why we need to know age and gender. Now, why do you need to know? Like I said, e-commerce. E-commerce is turning out to be a huge thing. We are doing more and more e-commerce sites. People are just, the storefronts are closing up. I actually just found out today, I have a friend who had a local clothing store here. I mean, very high-end stuff, and I understand that stuff's a little harder to sell just to start off with. But she started an online store a couple of years ago. Well, I just found out today that she's actually closing down the storefront, like the bricks and mortar, because it's just not a viable business anymore. It's costing her more money to be in the space than she's making selling the clothes. But her online store is still doing quite well. So, it's not like she's out of a business, out of a job, just she cannot sustain that storefront, physical storefront anymore. So e-commerce is getting more and more and more. So why do we need to know where in the world our customers are coming from? Simply because cultures vary, languages vary, how people engage and make buying decisions vary based on those cultural differences. I have a client right now who's looking at starting a fashion line for plus size women and doing it exclusively through an online store. It's worked quite well with another lady we know that's from Russia. There's a couple of stores in the UK, but plus size specific clothing stores for women online, there's not a ton of of variety. Now, the problem is that when you have a site like that, you have to take the culture of the world and keep that in mind when you're putting out your social media. We used to have another client, they were a bike lock company, and we did an e-commerce site. We did an e-commerce site for them. We had to put it into like 5 or 6 different languages, and we actually did have 4 or 5 different Facebook pages for them because they were in Germany, they were in Brazil, they were in North America, in the UK. Every one of those marketplaces engages differently, and not to mention that so many of them also have different languages that they use. So we actually decided, you know, instead of trying to engage all of those markets through one page, one medium, and hopefully, you know, hit everybody all at once, we made different pages to specifically target each one of their marketplaces so that we could be more effective with that engagement. And they did see their sales go up, especially in the South American markets. So people appreciate it too when you take the time to understand their culture and to interact with them in a way that they understand, in a way that they appreciate. So it's very important that we know where our customers are coming from. I'm sure that there is a huge, I mean, the first time I was ever on Blab, the first session I ever did on here was a test, and it was I had no idea whatsoever what I was doing. A wonderful lady from the UK popped in, asked me if I needed some help. I said, yeah. She joined me on screen and walked me through it. So, you know, there's a ton of different people all over the place from here. I know another guy, I followed him on Twitter because he was here. His name's Rashid, but he posts everything in Arabic. So I'm not quite sure what he's presenting, but I do know that there's a very diverse demographic just right here on Blab, and it's growing daily. This is becoming an amazing platform to use. So I'm very good. How are you? Sorry, I'm not sure who Nasronino? Sorry. Anyway, thanks. Welcome Nasir. Okay, well, thanks for joining us today. So I hope that you get something out of it. Go ahead, ask questions. At the very beginning, when I first came on, I posted my email address. So if you have any questions that I can't get to, or that you'd like to spend a little bit of time on, just give me a quick email and let me know what that is, and we'll see what we can do to get you all the information that you need, or have a good discussion. So we've gone through age, gender, region. Oh, sorry, and I'm kind of doing this quickly, but please do, if you've got any questions right now, pop in, because I'm good. I can use the break. Yep, I can do that for you again. Here you go. It's solutions at Creative Evolution. As soon as I learn how to spell it, marketing.com. And remember, with my name, Creative Evolution shares the E on the end of creative. It's all one word, so not Creative Evolution, but always join that E between creative and evolution. It was just my quirky little way of trying to make it unique. So, now, I talked a little bit earlier about most popular social media accounts. Why do we need to know what our most popular social media accounts are? Okay. Okay. Just give me 1 second, Nazir. Anyway, I have had so many clients come to me. My specialty in the company is actually social media and online marketing. And I have had so many people come to me going, oh, my friend told me about this site and this site. And they've got like, I don't know, 10 different social media accounts going, in a blog going, blah, 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 and then they can't figure out why they can't get any work done. My assertion always is, Find out what your most popular sites are, where people are actually engaging with you, where you're having the most activity happening, and then focus on those. And if you have to start with just one social media site, that's fine. As long as you're out there somewhere, that's fine. But what happens is everybody gets stressed out because social media. And you know what? We get so focused on social media that we forget, we seem to stop recognizing the fact that some traditional marketing is still very beneficial to modern day businesses. We cannot just be online. That does not help us establish our brand, and that does not help us have a balanced plan for our business growth. So go through your insights, go through your Twitalizer or whatever that you're using, go through your Google Analytics and find out where are you being engaged the most and focus on that. Because those are, if you're not engaging people, then why are you spending an hour a day when you could be actually working in your business instead of just on it all the time? So Nasir, you have a question here. When we use the past participle, help me. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Are you talking about like, yeah, could you just give me a little bit of clarification for that? And because yeah. And yeah, I'll try and answer your question a little bit better. Sorry. And welcome. I see we've got Better Software joined us, and it's your first time on Blab, so welcome. Thank you for choosing to join us. That's fantastic. Okay, so yeah. So we need to know our age because we need to know where our audience is and how they're engaging. Are they extremely visual? Do they like that 3 seconds? Is that what you have to go for? You know, the language that you're using, is it more corporate? Is it going to be more casual? Is it okay to use acronyms? Because there's a lot of people, you know, in the professional world. Well, just like the other day, I saw a woman post on LinkedIn, like a professional social media site, and she according to her profile, I'm trying to put this nicely, according to her profile, she is also some kind of an online digital marketer. Not quite sure what she does because I don't know her that well, but she posted an article on a professional website that is geared to CEOs and presidents of companies and decision makers, and the post's title, I think it was a blog post, was something about how you know when you're burned out. Except for instead of saying burned out, she put burnt, B-U-R-N-T. I was not amused. I wasn't impressed because you know what, that might work with your 18 to 19, 20, 25 demographic, but your 50-year-old CEO, he knows English. Please use English when you're trying to address him or her, because they're going to appreciate that a lot more than the slang dictionary. Anyway, that's just my little rant for the day. So, and the other reason too that we need to bring all that together is too, because you're going to be spending money. Let's get over it. You're going to spend money. If you're not going to spend money, then you're not really going to have the maximum potential growth. Campaigns can be amazing tools, but you have to do them right, which means you have to know where you're targeting them to, and you have to know how those people speak, you have to know how they engage, and you have to know what they respond to if you're going to get it. Get, you know, that response from them. So I'm just going to take a little break here. So Nasir is asked me to define the word participle. Well, participle is actually more of a scientific word, and it's nothing that I'm talking about here. Let me just do something here, and let me see if I can actually help you out. So I am just going to post this to you because I am not a teacher and I'm not good at explaining things. So it's like it's a technical word in the English language to describe something in English. So there's your definition from dictionary.com. You don't want a hanging participle. That's all I know. So past participle, I'm not quite sure what you mean by the past participle, because that would be using a past verb that you use to describe something or to modify a noun. I have no idea. So maybe that's not quite the word that you're looking for. I would love to help you. Just keep trying. We'll figure it out. Now, I know a lot of you probably also see these things all the time of, oh, the best time to post on Facebook and the best time to do this, the best time to do that. You know what? It's bunk. Because the best time to post on Facebook is the time that your analytics tells you that you have the majority share of your audience looking at your stuff. So if you go into Insights, that could be Walter, thank you. If you go into your Facebook Insights and you go, okay, and you're thinking maybe you've got more of a local audience. So you're expecting, your 5 o'clock post or your 6 o'clock p.m. post to have the most impact because, people are off work, they've just come home, they're checking their computers, and that's what you're expecting. And then all of a sudden you see, well, wait a second, 3 a.m. was like my biggest interaction. Well, then that's telling you that either everybody that live in your area stay up really, really late, or you're in a different time zone, or at least your audience is. So that can help you. Now, I'm not a big advocate of pre-scheduling content. I do happen to use Hootsuite here and there. If I'm going to do scheduling, I do prefer Hootsuite. I'm not really crazy about the Facebook personals, like they have their own pre-schedule and that. But I'm not a huge fan of it because I'm all about the personal interaction. That's the best way to build communities, to actually be there and be present. However, if you don't want to be up at 3 a.m. in the morning, but that's when your biggest audience is, you might want to look into taking some of those posts that you've posted sometime during the day, copying them, putting them into a system like Hootsuite, and having them post out while you're asleep in bed, because you do want to make sure that you are getting the largest portion of your market interested and engaged in your content. And if that happens to be 3 a.m., then make sure you're putting stuff out at 3 a.m. But you do need to look at that. You need to be able to correlate that so that you can have those biggest. And again, so important with e-commerce. And e-commerce is growing like crazy. So if you have an e-commerce site, like if you've got an online store, you're doing something that way, you so need to be certain that you are paying very close attention to where your audience is coming from, where your buyers are coming from, and when they're engaging. I think that those would be your two most important things. So if you're doing that, you just can't get away from that. Now, Walter is saying that he thinks that Monsieur might be interested in having me repeat some of the stuff that I said at the beginning. So I will do that very, very briefly, especially since I wasn't recording anyway, and some of you did come in a little later. So I'll go back and just do a very brief overview, and hopefully that's what you're looking for, and and you'll get something out of it. So I started off with age. We need to know our age demographic because we have to know who we're engaging. If it's the 18 to 25-year-olds, if it's the 50 to 60, 40-year-olds, whatever. Everybody, as each country, as each region has their own culture, so does each kind of age group and age category. Are you talking about those people that are just starting families, or, maybe are just still dating, like are really young. And in that stage of life, or we talk about people that are in the process of keeping their families going. Not to mention the fact too, like, if you've got one of those services that that helps or is trying to alleviate stresses for people that are part of that sandwich generation, which is growing and growing. Oh my goodness. Those people that are looking after children and also having to look after their aging parents at the same time. You need to know that, because you need to know how to target those groups and what they're going to respond to. So age is really, really important to know. Just going back to the burned versus burnt, please just make sure you know who your audience is and that you're engaging with them properly. Gender, male versus female, totally different buying decision patterns, totally different ways of thinking. Actually, I just had this discussion with a guy not too long ago about, being at the mall, especially just before Christmas time. And and the fact that, guys tend to be very focused in their buying decisions. Like, they already kind of know what they want and they know where they're going to get it, and they get in and they get out and they're happy about it. They don't even have to try it on because they've been to that same store 20 times before, bought that exact same style of shirt in that size, and they wore the ones that they previously bought just a couple of days ago, so they know it still works. They're good to go. However, I'll bring that up in just a second, Walter. Thank you. However, women, let's face it, we make excursions out of going to the mall. We don't even have to buy anything. We window shop and we stop for frozen yogurt or big city cupcakes or whatever the heck it is that's going on at the time that's trending. The guy that I was talking to tried to kind of argue a little bit. Oh, no, we shop a little bit too. And I was like, well, then why is it when you go to the mall, it's all men sitting on the benches waiting for their wives to finish their shopping? Just completely different mindsets. It's not that one's better than the other or right or wrong. It's just buying decisions are made differently. There's different perspectives. So you need to know, again, is your main audience female? Is your main audience male? And what age group they're in? Because that is so going to help you to be able to just kind of narrow right in, focus right in, and just grab their attention. Oh, Walter, do you have a wife that likes to shop? I'm a shoe girl, so I drive my guy crazy with shoes, but that's okay. I can buy my own too. So, oh, sorry to hear that. So I'm not widowed. I'm not, I don't know. There's so much going on in the world. So I'm very sorry that you're a widowed guy. Must not have been easy for you, but don't worry. I'm sure somewhere along the line you'll find another woman who loves to drag you to the mall and, entice you and torture you with her window shopping. So anyway, so any woman that, yeah, pretty much, you don't have to be picky. All of us will do it for you. That's all you need in your life, is some woman to take you to the mall and terrorize you and, force you into spending 3 hours in a place that has nothing that you're interested in. You can pick any woman. Anyway, and I think most people came in right around the region thing. That now Walter does bring up another. This is kind of a little off topic. We'll probably be addressing this a little further down the line, but social media etiquette. Let's just brush on that a little bit right now. Don't engage a troll. Everybody knows what a troll is. Everybody can tell who they are when they come on from the very first comment that they make. Just don't go there. It's not worth it. Just, if you feel the absolute necessity, block them, do whatever. Don't engage them. There's no point in being negative to anybody. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. If it's something that's against your business, then don't get defensive. We've seen this how many times lately, like, restaurants, people put in a bad review and the restaurant owner just goes on the attack and says, a whole bunch of bad things about the patron and that. Don't do it. You know what? When people go to social media, and they will, Social media is so handy, and we can all be a keyboard warrior. So, you know, it's so much easier to complain behind the backs of our hands to our buddy or whoever's at the restaurant with us, go home, sit behind our keyboards, click, and make our big comments about how much we hated this place or that place. And so often nowadays, people will tend to do that before they'll actually go to the management of the establishment. So there's a lot of times that the establishments don't even know that there was a problem until they hear about it on Facebook, or somebody tells them about a tweet that they saw regarding, or they just flat out get tagged. Don't feed into the negativity. You can actually take those situations and turn them into positives, because they might not have given you the opportunity to address the situation or make things right with them at the time that it happened, whatever the situation is. But you can get onto that social media and apologize and ask them publicly if there is something that we can do to make this right for you. You know, please stop by the store, or please email us, whatever like that, and show the public that, yeah, you know what, accidents happen. Mistakes get made, but that you're about customer service and you want to make sure that your clients and customers have the best possible experience, even if that means doing something for them after their initial experience with your store, product, or service. So etiquette is something that is so lacking these days, but something that is so essential if you're a business owner. And if you happen to be one of those people that is really emotionally attached to your business, and so anytime somebody says something even slightly out of line, or what you consider to be out of line, and it gets your emotions up, then don't handle it yourself. Have somebody else who handles that for you. There's a ton of people out there that manage social media that are experts in dealing with that, who are very experienced in dealing with negative situations. And I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen the Campbell's thing. There's a commercial that they've just recently put out that has two dads in it, and they have a little girl, and somebody tweeted them or whatever saying their ad with the two dads makes this person sick. And so Campbell Soup's response, and I wish I had printed it out so you could see it. Campbell Soup's response was, you know, hey, we're really sorry that you're not feeling well. Maybe try some of our wholesome chicken noodle soup. It always helps everybody feel better, you know. And but then they also added to make sure to warm it up to thaw out their cold dead heart for not caring about two dads. So I mean, a little bit of negativity at the end, but it got them a lot of social media play. People were very, you know, kind of laughed about it a little bit, but these things are going to happen. Make sure if you're not the one that's able to deal with that, that you've got somebody in place who can and will take that and turn that into a positive situation for you, instead of just playing into the negativity. Because you know what, it takes one tweet to ruin your reputation, and it could take 1 million and you'd still never rebuild it, you know, 1 million retweets, you know, after that. So here's what we're going to do. We're taking all of our information. I've just got a little bit of time left here. So the wrap up of this, you've gathered your information, you know what worked, you know what didn't work. So you're going to take this information now, because as I keep reminding everybody, we're all about planning. We're in our planning phase. I know that everybody that's on here right now who's joined us is either has a plan, or is busy making a plan, or is just about to sit down and take care of that. The stuff that worked, you can probably replicate for at least the next 3 months. We always have to be doing research because our marketplaces do change. But if something worked in November, December, if you'd run a really good campaign, it got you a lot of notice, you are likely going to be able to replicate that campaign, use a slightly different bit of wording or whatever, and run that and still have a successful campaign. It's actually the failures that we really need to focus on. And yes, I call them failures because you know what, people fail all the time. It happens. It's a matter of life. Let's not sugarcoat it. If something didn't work, didn't get you the response, and you spent a whole bunch of money on it to get nothing back, it failed. but we can still use that to our benefit. And that's where I want you guys to start focusing. Not that I give homework or anything. I mean, we'll be back again next week, but for everybody who's just sitting down and starting their planning, take a look at what you tried last year. Take a look at your goals that you set based on those attempts, on those, and ask yourself, like, really dive into it. Why didn't it work? Were you looking at the wrong target audience? You know, did you have the wrong demographics? Did you engage in a way that just isn't working? Look at other companies that are similar to yours that have run successful campaigns or do have, like, you know, followers, like a huge amount of followers and that sort of thing. And see what they're doing. Compare that to what you did that didn't work. Find out, you know, what crosses over, where you can make those tweaks. Is it worth keeping? Is it worth retrying? Or should you just scrap it entirely? It's those failures that are really, really, really going to help you create those plans that are going to boost your success and your growth rate. When we're just continuing to do what was already successful, that's great. That's generating interest, but it kind of keeps us here, right? Okay, it worked here. Okay, it worked here. There we go. So we're going to do this again, and we're going to go, okay, this is kind of our maintenance program. We need to look at that stuff that was down here that didn't hit the mark and figure out if it's complete garbage or what we can do to it to take it up to here. And Walter, you're absolutely right. The mark of an entrepreneur is failing until you get it right. It's our failures that are going to teach us the absolute most. But our failures can't teach us anything if we're not making sure that we're sitting down and using them in a plan. And I highly, highly cannot stress enough, write down your plans, write down your goals, write down your financial markers, benchmarks that you want to reach throughout the year. I don't care if you have to put it on postcards, post it around your house. I don't what you do, but you need to have some reminder of that. Use a CRM. Use, you know, if you're on Gmail, for goodness sakes, program things into your calendar so that you can, you know, get those alerts to say, hey, you're supposed to be here. Hey, you're supposed to be doing that. And really hitting that. Find an accountability partner if you can. I know accountability is a big, big, scary word, but having those people that are not afraid to crack the whip and make sure to help us keep us on track with our goals are essential to our business lives. If we want to succeed, we need to have woodcrackers. So, you know, business coach, good friend, like just anybody who can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to put this in my calendar and I'm going to email you or I'm going to give you a phone call. And if you're not there, we're going to find out why you're not there. And if it's because you just didn't put into it what you need to, I'm going to crack the whip and you're going to get it done. You're going to meet that goal. But again, those goals are going to be more effective and are going to grow your businesses more if you base them on what didn't work. Because you don't want to just be in maintenance mode. You just don't want to keep doing what worked a few months ago. You need to have a plan for right now. You need to be out there still. You need to be engaging your audience, but you also need to be looking at what is going to take you to the next level, what's going to boost you. And so this is why in marketing, we really need to live a little bit in our past, because it's our past and those failures that are going to take us into our future. And if we want those futures to be successful, we need to know what didn't work, why it didn't work, and get it fixed. So I believe that we are very close to our 2 o'clock, and I'm really sorry, but my throat is just failing me right now. So, okay, yes, Walter, you know what? I will give you an email. It looks like Walter and I may be co-hosting a blab soon because he's got a lot of good points for some stuff that I got in upcoming blabs. So, so we will engage in that, and I'll be back again next week. And yeah, thank you all again for joining me here, because if it weren't for you guys, then it wouldn't be happening. Please make sure to tell your friends, share it out in your Twitter feeds, and that sort of thing. Anybody that you know that's in business that could use a little help, Don't be afraid at all to send me any suggestions that you might have for things that you would like to see in upcoming shows, topics that you would like to have discussed, because you know, we're all open to suggestions, and I'm all about helping. That's why I do marketing. So I'm an open book. Just feel free to engage me through my email, my website, my Facebook, my Twitter. Just look me up, and I will try and do my best to make sure that the issues or the concerns, questions are all getting addressed from in one show or another. Okay, so thank you again, and I'm going to sign off so that I can go suck on a bag of hulls. Talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Walter. I'll be in touch.